Hey everyone, Forrest over here at Ray's Sport Marine in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I'm standing in front of the brand new 2022 Lund 1875 Fisherman. We just got this boat in here a week or so ago. I've gotten a lot of interest and questions on it already. One of the most common questions I've been getting is what's the difference between this boat and Lund's Tyee model? They're both a big water, kind of trolling oriented boat. So I wanted to go over a few of the differences between the two and what makes them both unique. One of the first things you'll notice on the Fisherman series as well as the Tyees, they're a very big, deep boat. They've got really high sides, a really deep cockpit, a very pronounced keel. So they're meant for taking on, big water, big waves. Very secure with the high sides there. You're not going to feel like you're going to fall to the side of the boat when you're in those big waves. As far as dimensions go, the Tyee and the Fishermans are going to be almost exactly the same. They're both 18 foot 10 inches long. The Fisherman is actually going to have 1 inch wider beam, but other than that they're almost identical as far as size and dimensions go. Storage between the two boats is going to be pretty similar. I'd give the edge on rod storage to the Fisherman. You've got a center deck rod storage up here with 10 individual tubes. Then you've got a center floor storage with another 10 tubes for up to 9 foot rods. You've also got the option to add tubes into your side storage here on the Fisherman. So you've got a little bit more rod storage on the Fisherman, still plenty of storage on both. I would just give them a little bit of an edge. Something new this year on the Fisherman that was previously only available on the Pro V models, the front deck is all aluminum, as you can see. And also new this year, which is unique to the Fisherman series, the floor is also aluminum. So you have no more wood in the floor, no more wood on the deck. Entire floor and front deck is all aluminum, which is kind of nice. Never have to worry about any sort of issues with wood. It's all full aluminum on the Fisherman model. Comparing the two boats, the Tyee is going to be kind of your more bells and whistles, a little more luxurious version, whereas the Fisherman is a little more utilitarian. Standard in the Fisherman for seats is solid pedestals with standard seats, whereas your Tyees are going to come standard with air ride pedestals and pro ride seats. A couple other creature comforts. On the Fisherman, the stereo does not come standard. That's an option, whereas the Tyee, that is a standard feature. And into the recreational side of things, the Tyees come standard with a ski tow base, whereas it's not even an option on the Fisherman. So Fisherman is definitely geared more towards the hardcore fishing and trolling, whereas the Tyee has a couple of more of those family and recreational features. One other difference between the Tyees and Fishermans would be your max horsepower. On the Fisherman 18-footer, you're maxed out with a 150, whereas when you get into that Tyee 18-footer, you can put on a 200. In the 20-foot versions, you can go up to a 200 horse on the Fisherman and a 250 on the Tyee. One other sort of significant difference between the Tyees and Fishermans would be your hull design. So as you can see on the Fisherman here, it's got Lund's IPS 1 hull. Whereas when you go over to the 1875 Tyee, you get into Lund's IPS 2 hull. So the boats like the Impacts, Crossovers, and the Fisherman now will have that IPS 1. Whereas when we get into your Tyees and Pro Vs, you're going to have that IPS 2 hull. So a couple extra strakes. IPS 2 is basically Lund's top-of-the-line hull for the aluminum boats. But we've also seen, great performance out of that IPS 1 in our Impacts and Crossovers. So looking forward to see that Fisherman on the big water. As I was saying, with kind of the optional features on the Fisherman that are standard on the Tyee and some of those creature comforts. Of course, you've got your ski pylon base. Like I said, that's standard feature on the Tyees. As you can see, you've got your pro ride seats on air ride pedestals. Again, that's a standard feature on the Tyee, optional on the Fisherman. Similar in-floor storage on the Tyee here to the Fisherman, but you give up that center rod locker that the Fisherman has. So Fisherman's got a little bit of an edge on rod storage. Rest of the storage is going to be very similar. Another difference between the two is your rear seating. On the Tyee, you've got kind of your traditional style flip-up seats like we're familiar with in the Impacts, Crossovers, whereas the Fisherman has the new style flip-down seats that were like the Tyee Magnums used to have. A little bit different dash design on the Tyees. The Tyees come standard with a stereo. This specific one has the upgraded Rockford Fosgate stereo, but they do come standard with a kicker stereo system. Also on the Tyees, you have the option for the bow cushions if you got the family out. you've got a front and rear live well on the Tyee, whereas the Fisherman just has the one rear live well. So a couple small differences there. Overall, they're going to be very similar boats. The Tyee is kind of your little bit more luxurious, bells and whistles, a little more creature comforts, designed for some more that fishing with recreation in mind. Whereas that Fisherman is going to be your kind of pure fishing, hardcore kind of trolling boat. So hopefully that answered some of your questions about the new Lund Fisherman as well as the Tyee. If you got any questions on either of those boats or any of the other models that Lund, Crestline, or Bennington sells, feel free to reach out and we can do our best to help you out.